Yo, what's up? This is Raquel with the Reading Roller Coaster Club, and today I'm going to go over my March reads to wrap it up and a pretty little bow for y'all. Not really, because I'm probably going to go off the rails somewhere. But anyways, if you want to see that, stick around. So, the first book that I read was my book club pick for the first half of March. Again, if you don't know, I do have a book club on the app Fable under the same name, Reading Roller Coaster Club. And the book that a member picked was Rings of Fate by Melissa de la Cruz. It is a romantasy, and I gave that one 4 stars. I don't know. I think I gave it 3 stars, but one thing about me is I don't really gravitate towards romantasies or fantasies and things like that, which is going to sound contradictory because I do have one of my top picks of March, and it is a fantasy book. But like, I really don't do that. You can go look up all my Goodreads and everything. Like, the only other one that I read was Caraval. So yeah. Anyways, we don't want to get off the rails. Rings of Fate follows a barmaid named Erin who is raising her 2 twin sisters. And her dad promised her the bar, which is the Raven's Beak, I believe it's called. Once her sisters are off and good, like once he knows they're good, he's like, I'll sign over the deed and you can have the bar. And Erin loves it. That's what Erin wants to do. She just wants to be independent. She doesn't want to have the responsibility of her sisters no more, because ever since her mother passed away, it was just been her sisters, her and her dad, and she's just been like a second mother to them, and she doesn't want to do that no more. She wants to live her own life. So when she hears that the prince of all the lands, Prince Diden, is coming through town looking for himself a wife to marry, she gets excited. She starts making dresses. It's like it reminded me a lot of little spits and spats of Disney princesses. It's kind of like in reverse. She wanted her sisters to marry off, so she like starts sewing them dresses, start getting them looking right, you know, and all that. But Prince Diden, he's accompanied by his 2 best men, or his 2 like protectors, but also his best friends, Marcus and Jared, and they end up liking the twins and end up taking the twins for themselves. And Diden, he meets Erin in the bar one night, and he low-key likes her, but Diden is also having like an ulterior motive for this little tour that he's doing, because he is cursed by the Rings of Fate, and he needs to break this curse. He needs to get these rings before anybody finds out that he has this curse. And so him and Erin, she ends up helping him do that, and it becomes like a love story and stuff. So I mean, it was cute. I can't say if I would recommend it or not, because I don't feel right. It's not my genre, but it was a good book, and it's kind of popular right now. So yeah, so that was the first book I read. And then the second book I picked up, of course, was Thea FREIDA. One of her newest books, because that girl wild, is Dear Debbie. Now, Dear Debbie follows a housewife named Debbie Mullen. She's from New England, and she's a stay-at-home mom, but she does have a job with a newspaper where she writes like friendly, neighborly articles of advice. People write in. If you're old enough to know about the Dear Abbeys, that's basically what Debbie's doing. People are like, Dear Debbie, my kids don't want to eat breakfast with me. What do I do? And she's like, oh, do this, ABC. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. And she has a husband and 2 teenage daughters. And her 2 teenage daughters are being like some teenagers, where they don't really care to have anything to do with her. And everything was going good. You know, everything was normal. She had some stuck-up teenagers. She had a husband who worked all the time. She had her little article to keep her busy in her little garden, because she loved to garden. She really loved her garden. And everything was cool. I mean, as cool as it can get, until things take a change. She loses her job at the paper. Like, some shit happens. She gave some crazy advice, and shit happens. So she loses her job. One of her daughters is becoming super distant, super moody, and she has this little boyfriend, and Debbie's like, something's going on with that boyfriend. Like, why is my daughter acting like this? And it's just like, she has these nagging neighbor guy that blasts his music, and it's just everything just a flip of a coin on her. So she decides that it's time for payback against everybody. Everybody that's pissing her the fuck off right now. Like, she's gonna get her revenge in one way or another. And the way she does all that is pretty crazy. So I gave this 3 stars. It was alright. I'm always gonna say yes when it's like, would you recommend it? Because FREIDA Mcfadden is hit or miss. You're either gonna like it or you're not. You're gonna eye roll or you're gonna eat the shit up. So yes, I would recommend it. I gave it 3 stars. It was alright. So the next book that I read in March was by Jennifer Hillier, and it was Creep. This book was good. I gave this 5 stars. It's a thriller, a psychological thriller. I would recommend it. I am actually currently reading the second part of this, which is Freak. So I didn't add it to this because I don't know if I'm going to be done in March or I'm going to finish in the beginning of April. So it'll probably be on my April wrap up. But I kind of explained this book in one of my other videos, so I'm not going to go too much in detail. But basically this follows a woman named Sheila Tao, and she's a psychology professor at a university, and she has a TA named Ethan Wolf. She's been sleeping with this TA guy, Ethan Wolf, and she has a boyfriend named Morris. Well, Morris asks her to marry him, and of course she says yes. So she tells Ethan, we cannot sleep together anymore. So Ethan is cool with it, and then he's not, because she's like, I also can't work with you no more because, like, I'm about to be married and we're sleeping together. Like, I can't do this. We come to find out that Sheila is actually a sex addict. So more ways than one, it makes sense. Like, she doesn't want to be around Ethan anymore. You know, like, don't dangle the crack in front of me, basically, right? So Ethan gets pissed off because he's like, good for you, don't want to be married and everything, and I'm cool with all that, but I don't want to go to another professor, because she was trying to pawn him off to somebody else because she can't work with him. She's like, you can go work for this other professor, I'll put in a good word, yada yada yada. And he's like, nope. So then he goes and tells her that he's going to start a whole scandal because she doesn't even know that he has a sex tape of them, and he's going to let that shit go viral if she don't quit playing. So she finds herself in a pickle. So she decides to come out to her fiance, and then shit just gets crazy because Ethan comes like obsessed with her and her husband in the whole situation, and he does some crazy things. We find out a lot of crazy things about Ethan. Just to give you a little peekaboo, he goes as far as to disguise himself, like high-tech disguise himself, like movie grade disguises, and goes on a job interview for Morris, goes to a sex addict meeting, even tricks Sheila into like having a little dinner with him. Like, she was at a diner and he showed up in full disguise and sat down with her because he was from the sex meeting, Sex Addicts Anonymous, and she literally had like dinner with him and didn't even know it was him. Like, it gets into, he is a creep. He is a creep. So yeah, I would recommend this book. I gave it 5 out of 5. I'm reading part 2 right now, called Freak. And like I said in my last video, I'm kind of been on a Jennifer Hillier kick. I don't know. It's just something that's been happening. So the next book that I read was a fantasy book. This is why I said I might sound like a hypocrite, but I just so happened to get this book because other reasons. I have in my other video. I don't want to start, because I will rant. The one thing about me, once I get going, I'm very ranty. I have no friends. I have nobody to talk to. So I'll just start ranting. Let's stop me now. Water Moon. 5 out of 5. This is by Samantha SOTTO YAMBAO, and I gave this 5 out of 5. And would I recommend? Of course, I will recommend this book. This book, I love it so much that I literally want 2 copies. I want one that I can scrabble in, highlight, tab, do all the things. This book is filled with so many good quotes, so much good knowledge, so many cute things, so many real things. Like, this book had me everywhere. I loved it. I loved it. I don't even want to read another fantasy book, because if this is the impression that I have of what y'all be reading when y'all read fantasy books, leave me right here. Leave me right here. So Water Moon follows this young girl named Hana, who is with her father, Toshio, and they own a pawn shop. But the thing is, it's only a pawn shop to those who need the pawn shop, because anybody else that walks in there, they don't see a pawn shop. They see a ramen restaurant. So they pawn people's regrets and bad choices, right? And Hana, she's been living with her dad because her mother passed away. Her name was Shiyo. And what happened was, when Hana was a baby, her mother Shio took somebody's regret out of the vault. Okay? And there are these things called it's called Shikuin. They're literally like the Grim Reaper. But they come like on a monthly, like you know how the people that pick up the money from the bank? Okay, these people come like that. This guy, it's like the Grim Reaper. He comes to the vault and takes everybody's regret and everybody's bad choices. Well, Shio took somebody's regret and like released it or did something to it, and that is a big no-no. So they took care of Shio. So that left Hana a little orphan with her dad Toshio, right? Okay, fast forward, Toshio is ready to retire. He's ready to give Hana the pawn shop. She's learned the ins and outs, the ropes. He's confident in her. She knows everything, and he's ready to hand it over. Well, the morning that he goes to hand it over, she wakes up and everything is like, looks like somebody broke in. Like, it's all crazy, right? And it just so happened that this young man walks in named Keishu, and Keishu is there. He stumbled in there, and of course he sees the pawn shop, so we can all just assume that he has a regret or a choice that he needs to like pawn off, right? And he finds Hana there like freaking out looking for her dad. So long story short, he decides to go on this journey with her to find her father. And the whole way, she doesn't want him there. She's like, no, you know, this is my dealing. Like, I got to do it. But he's like, I'm not going to leave you alone, girl. You look distressed. Like, I'm going to help you, you know? And so she's just like, okay. And this takes you on such a whimsical, dreamy journey. Like, I have never read a book that was so descriptive, so dreamy, so whimsical, so like, I want to be in this world. I want to be in this world. I want to see it. I want a movie about it. And it makes sense to make an animated movie, but I want a real movie. Like the way they did Wicked. Like, can we get some Water Moon? I want all the Water Moon things. I want to learn how to make origami so I can put them on my shelf and be like, those are my Water Moon origamis. Like, this book had me. Like, if you can't tell, like, I fell in love with this fucking book, dude. I did. There's even like this guy named Haratu, who's an origami maker, and he even like, they even have one that tattoos like your whole destiny on your body. Like, there's a bridge of dreams. Like, oh my god, I love it. 5 out of 5. Would definitely recommend. I need to get me another copy. Well, this is a reread. I rarely have books that I care to reread. When I read a book, I read it. Sometimes I totally forget it. You can ask me next month and I have no idea what it's about. And there's some books that I read it, they stick with me, they're cool, but I don't ever see myself rereading it. I just recently found out that my one of the apps that I have for audiobooks has this on audio, and I low-key want to listen to the audio and see how that goes. Yeah, I love this book. Okay, I'm gonna get off my fucking Water Moon horse and move on. Water Moon, yes, I would recommend. I gave it 5 out of 5. It's a fantasy book. Yes, I fell in love with it. Now, my next book, I did a total, what do y'all say, 180, 360, I don't know what it's called, but I did that. Okay, this is way different from Water Moon. And that is Anne Rule's The Lust Killer. This book was so fucking crazy. I'm gonna make a whole video on this alone. This book by itself. Well, I don't want to make promises. I do want to make one. Okay. In a nutshell, this follows the true story, because this is a nonfiction true crime book by Anne Rule, which is another genre that I love to read. I'm one of those people into the ID channel, Lifetime movies. Like, every time I see some weird shit happen, I'm like, I watch too much ID because I can't even trust it. Like, I'm one of those people too. Okay, so The Lust Killer follows the serial killer from the 1960s, Jerome Henry Brudos. I almost want to just go off and tell y'all this story now. I might just put timestamps. This might be the time. Okay. Am I gonna do this? Let's see. There's gonna be spoilers. I mean, it's a serial killer. It's not like a thriller book, so that... Okay, can I be serious for a second? I'm so unserious. Okay. Okay, y'all, for real. So this boy, he was born Jerome Henry Brudos on January 31st, 1939. I already looked it up. He was an Aquarius sun, a Gemini moon, and a Capricorn rising. Okay, I had a phone call in the middle of that, so I don't know if I should take that as a sign. Like, this whole chart that I found and like compare it to how he is. I think, because I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like how he was. I don't know. This is so crazy. Okay, let's just put a pause on that. I think I'm gonna go make a video since I'm like in the mood to talk about it. Right, almost right. I just want people to know this story. If you don't know, this dude was crazy. I had never heard of him or anything until I read this book, and I was thoroughly shocked. Thoroughly shocked. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that there. I need to sit on that. I need to make the video because it is like, I want to just I just want to tell people about it. So let me make that video so that I can upload it at the same time. And now you know, if you want to know about this freaking creep, yeah, right after this. Okay, so let me get to the last book I read. The last book that I read in March was a book club pick, and that was That's Not My Name by LALLY. I gave this 5 stars. This is a fast-paced thriller. It's one of those thrillers, once you start reading, you don't want to put it down. It is a very easy read. This starts off with a girl being found in a rural area, a ditch, and she's off and she doesn't remember shit. The sheriff takes her back to the station. She doesn't remember who she is, where she came from, how she ended up in that ditch, like nothing. Shortly after, this man comes in to file a missing persons report, and he's in a panic saying that he lost his daughter. He starts showing pictures. He has a birth certificate. Everything points to the girl that's there at the sheriff's office. So for whatever reason, the sheriff feels comfortable letting her leave with him after he goes to their cabin and like peeps game, sees her social and all that, and is like, I see baby pictures, like everything seems to check out, right? Okay, then we start following another person's perspective of a boy named Drew, whose girlfriend Lola has been missing for weeks. The last time he's seen her, they were hanging out together at a boat ramp. They got into a little spew and she took off walking and never was heard of again. So the whole town thinks that he had something to do with it. They think that he killed Lola or did something to Lola, and that's why she's missing. So we go back and forth from the girls' chapters to Drew's chapters, all the way to the very end, and when the timelines collide, and I was not disappointed. So I would 100% recommend this book as well. So yeah, that is all for my March wrap up. So have a good day. Let me let y'all go before I start getting off the rails and going on a rant. Thank you for all my riders and roadies that are here. This is probably gonna be like my 8th video maybe, so if you stop by every now and then and check to see if I got better, you're a real one. If you stuck here this long, you're the real MVP. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Again, leave in the comments if y'all want to go live and we can analyze this full off his birth chart that I was able to pull up. We can do that. So Yeah, because I was a little shocked. I started reading it and I was like, oh my gosh, this book kind of like, yeah. So anyways, again, let me let y'all go. Have a good day. Be a good human. Do something good in your life today. And I hope you have a good one, and see you in the next one, as they say.